That might be it. Man, I should have took a poo before I started this. I got an hour to go now.
Brantley's having some technical difficulties with his power, so I'm just here with Tank and Proctor this morning, and you can join us all in our RC chat at foolishit.com/live or foolishtechshow.com. We're here primarily to assist our customers, our user base, with our software, either it be D-Support Suite, D7.2, or Crypto Prevent, or anything else that you want to chat with us about. If you have any questions, if you're not a customer and have any questions about what we do and what we have to offer, or would like to see some of our software, maybe we could give you a little bit of a test drive, just let us know in the chat, and we'll keep an eye on it. There's a small delay between what you type and what we what we're speaking, so keep that in mind, but it usually works out pretty well. And we have a large audience from all over the world who hopefully will be here today. Maybe I give myself too much credit, but
probably.
Thanks. But we're gonna, yeah. Well, I'm gonna need it this morning. So I just wanted to cover some tech news this morning. The one I was most concerned about with, as you all know, I'm very privacy oriented, and I'm very, I don't want to particularly advertise my face more than I have to, and I certainly don't want any more information out there about me than already currently is. Of course, I'm hindered by a society that typically requires most of its members to have driver's licenses and then register to vote and several other things. It's not an absolute requirement, and as I'm sure if Brantley were here, he would remind all of you out there that there are ways to potentially circumvent those systems.
Well, you're not required to have a driver's license. You don't have to drive.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, but, where I live, not being particularly close to anything within miles, I'm not easily able to do the walk that I would need to, certainly not with groceries. I would need some sort of transportation to make that work. It's not required, but I think most of us would be not very well off without our vehicles. It might not be the case for you where you live, Tank, but I think many of us out there could.
Oh, I'm not saying it wouldn't suck. I'm just saying it's not required. Now, you do have to have a picture ID if you want an adult beverage or something.
And yeah, there's that too. But of course, you can get IDs that are not driver's licenses. So, but there's, I'm sure if Brantley were here, he would go over a grand litany of ways that he circumvents those particular gotchas and catches. But I'm going to paste in here if I can in just a moment. The links to.
Can you test whether or not the show is broadcasting from the website? Does not look like it is from my end.
So I've just been talking for nothing apparently because no one out there can hear me. We're going to take a small break while we determine whether or not I should continue at all today. If anybody is out there listening, please join us at foolishit.com/live or foolishtechshow.com. You can join our RRC chat. There's an embedded RRC channel. I recommend clicking on that and chatting with us there. You could also use your own IRC client. We have the information to join there. We also have our schedule. So check it out. And if any of you out there could potentially confirm with me that my voice is being heard, I'd appreciate it. Make me feel a whole lot better, crew. Unfortunately, it sort of seems like either, well, with Certainly nobody in chat except for us, so I guess I don't know who I'm talking to. But
The website says live stream is starting soon, but I'm pretty sure it's playing on YouTube.
oh, golly. I don't know. Is Brantley, was there any, I didn't see those chats. Oh, no, that was Johnny. Okie dokie. Well, I was going to talk about some privacy-related topics in the news recently, but it doesn't appear that we're going to make that happen. Johnny says it's already published. What does that mean?
I see live stream is starting soon.
Okay. Well. But even if the show, the normal crew, oh, they're all asleep. That's right. Sometimes they stay up till 8 a.m. on our time, but more than typically, it's they're asleep by 10.
Yeah, we're not live, I don't think.
Not good. Cleaning fans. Realize how dirty my old computer is. Oh, very depressing. I was kind of excited about the show. Outside, though, it was freezing yesterday, or was on its way towards getting freezing yesterday, and then wouldn't you know it, I walked out the door this morning, actually at 4 a.m., expecting it to be freezing, of course, and it was warm. It's absolutely warm, comfortable. In shorts, I would have been fine. Not sure where our fearless leader Nick is, but anyway, I thought I'd talk about some news here and remind everyone that our primary concern, though, is our customer base. And if anybody wants to chat, if they have questions about our software, please join us. There's an IRC channel that you can use a client to join. We have the information on the website that I mentioned, foolishit.com/live or foolishtechshow.com. There's also an embedded IRC channel on that page. Even if you don't have a client, you can join us in the chat there. I'm going to go ahead and start discussing something that's near and dear to my heart. Privacy, as many of you know, is one of the reasons why I don't have my face showing typically, and several other maybe crazy tendencies, as some of my coworkers might say that I have. But I don't think you could see it when I posted it earlier, but even if you could, I'm going to post it again. Story that I was just reading on Slashdot regarding, what was it regarding now? Microsoft having your encryption keys, yeah. So the craziest thing is that Microsoft allows you to, or actually whenever you log into Windows, Microsoft uploads a copy of your recovery key to the Microsoft servers. Now, these recovery keys can decrypt your data. They typically would be used by you in the event that the two-factor authentication system broke down, as we've discussed in the past. You might have copies of hard or physical printed copies, let's say, of recovery keys. Well, Microsoft is taking these recovery keys immediately to them, and so even if you chose to delete the keys, because you have the ability to delete your recovery keys, they already have a copy of them. That means they could share them, with the government, or give up your data, or that would be a convenient backdoor. All sorts of good stuff. I think that's a huge security concern, and this was it's even this article compares it to the Clipper chip, if anybody remembers, in TVs, but it's just shows you that still even very large companies like Microsoft don't put consumer privacy at the forefront. They certainly put profits at the forefront, and that's usually at the sacrifice of our privacy and sharing of our data, and allowing rogue employees from within Microsoft to access the data, spy agencies to potentially access the data. Government our government could legally compel them to turn this over. It's very as this guy from Johns Hopkins University says, your computer is now only as secure as the database of keys held by Microsoft, which means it may be vulnerable to hackers, foreign governments, and people who can extort Microsoft employees. It's bad enough I have to worry about everything we all need to personally worry about for our security and privacy, but now we have to worry about those things, and we don't have a choice in this matter. This is something that automatically applies to everyone indiscriminately. What do you think about that, Proctor? Or Tank, for that matter? I mean, I know you guys aren't as privacy-focused as I am, but the very fact that Microsoft kind of sneakily keeps a copy of your encryption keys so that they, for what purpose?
Well, I was monitoring the video, Michael, and I wasn't getting everything you said, but I guess when you encrypt something, you don't want anyone else other than yourself to be able to access that data.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I guess working with end users and things like that, I see people losing passwords, and then they're not able to retrieve their data and stuff like that. So having some type of backup backup mechanism can be beneficial. But if you're really trying to lock down your data so no one else can see it, it is a scary thing.
If somebody locks the keys in their car, they're pretty much shit out of luck, right?
Well, if you lock your keys in your car, you can always break out your window and get in there. But if you lose your encryption key, it's a lot harder to break into your data.
And the manufacturer also has your keys, and the dealer also has your keys. Other people always have your keys. And if you're talking about the bit drive, whatever, having your encryption keys tied to your Microsoft account, that makes complete sense. And they don't do it very sneakily either. They pretty much tell you up front.
Well, it's news to me that they're keeping copies of it, even if I choose to delete them. That's why offer me the ability to delete the keys without removing them from their storage. That, to me, that is sneaky.
What are you going to do with them? Or what are they going to do with them?
Exactly what I just said. They could be any Microsoft employee could have access to your data, or they could turn it over to the government, or or anybody that has the ability to extort a Microsoft employee, and their database could be hacked.
How does a Microsoft employee have access to your data?
Just they would have access to
your account.
The backup key.
Yeah, but how do they have access to your data and your computer that backup key is being used on?
Well, they'll have access to whatever data you've uploaded to them and stuff like that.
So whatever data you've handed over to someone else to take care of.
Well, yeah, but the point is I'm encrypting it.
They have access to it. Oh, well, no. You didn't encrypt it with your own key that you kept on your own computer? You encrypted it with their encryption that then you handed their data over to them? Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, there's the difference. And that's what I was telling you yesterday in light of that 191 million data voter registration leak yesterday, is that you choose who you give your information over to, and you give it out to people no matter what you want to do. Like, you can try to stay as private as you want, but if you're actually giving over legit information to anybody, you're the one leaking out your security and privacy and data. You're entrusting it to someone else, therefore your privacy is no longer yours. You have given control to that other entity.
It's a matter of choosing privacy over convenience.
Yeah, if you want to have everything completely private and secure and on your own, then you build hardware from the ground up. You build operating systems from the ground up. You build programs from the ground up. You have all of your data tied into one place. You don't connect it to the internet or network unless your operating system is super secure from the ground up and you know how everything works and you're going to have to grow your own food and
not
leave your cave.
So not feasible.
And you have to completely test your ground that you're growing the food on, because you don't know what's happened in the past 5 billion years. Anything. And you got to do the test yourself. Plus, you have to make the lab equipment to do the tests to make sure that those aren't tainted.
If Microsoft got access to your private PGP key and decided to publish it on the web,
how did they get access to that?
Well, The point is
because I gave it away. If I create a PGP key that's private and mine, I'm the one responsible for it. If I go and leave my keys laying around the yard and somebody else steals my car, I'm the one responsible for that.
Why can't Microsoft and all these companies be forced to treat their the storage as if it were a safety deposit box?
Because it's not a safety deposit box. And guess what? If the police want to get into a safety deposit box, they can. So who are you protecting your data from?
Well, I could put the safety deposit box in another country.
Because other countries are much safer.
You're still entrusting it with another bank.
Yeah, and another entity, and
I know, but I need somebody with security. I can't afford to pay security.
There's no such thing as security. Even then, if you're paying security guards, how do you know you can trust them to hold onto your keys and not steal your car? Just because you're paying them? Well, guess what? The guy next to you might be able to probably can pay them more. It's a completely idealistic thought, and it's something you want to keep in mind, but it's something that you can never truly live up to.
Currently composing my suicide note.
That what difference would that make? See, there's no point in even trying to.
Are you going to put it in a safety deposit box?
Yeah.
See,
And if you're so private, who are you trying to tell?
that's a good point.
Dear my ghost, you're the only one that reads this.
I guess I should stop praying via text message to God. Oh. All right, I'll just shut up. Share it with the world.
I'm just saying that you should look at it like there's not much you can do, so you might as well do what you can. You don't have to give up on the world entirely.
No, it sounds
You
like
do
that's
have
what
to
you
stick
do.
to some of your limitations. Alright. Yeah, it looks like everything's working fine, Proctor.
All right, good.
Oh, and our wonderful education system in this country, apparently, it's... oh, by the way, do we still have civics teachers? Because this article specifically mentions civics teachers, and I was never taught civics in school, and as far as I know, no one in my generation was taught civics in school. So I could be wrong about that. Certainly you're fortunate if you were. But it certainly wasn't guaranteed across this nation of ours. But apparently...
I thought that was sixth grade curriculum. Wasn't that sixth grade social studies with civics?
Yeah, I think it was for me.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really didn't.
Favorite
think-
teachers, I
Didn't
can't
pay
remember.
attention in school.
Oh, Jesus, I graduated with over a 4.0. Listen, civics, though, the I think if you look at it, it was combined, an afterthought, sort of. If you look at the, still ask any of those kids the structure of the government, and they could, answer that. They know a lot of history about the founding of it and everything else, and all those other stupid shits that nobody cares about. But they know nothing about how our government actually works. Not a single bit about it. But at any rate, that's not my point. The point is that English teachers, history teachers, and civics teachers are apparently more than qualified to teach computer science programming classes. You really think it's going to work? Where the kids know more about the topic being taught to them, than the teachers do. I don't think that's going to win us any, get our computer science and other STEM education paths. It's never going to get them anywhere doing stuff like this. Yeah, it's horrible. But on the other hand, computer science isn't for everyone. But exactly, yeah, you shouldn't just take a random shop teacher and stick them in a class for teaching computer science. These are not necessarily the skills needed for that. Don't translate necessarily well into other things. So, I guess I should post this article.
Yeah, I stopped listening to you after something about 4.0. So my power went out today, and I was all worried about it because I thought that my computer shut itself down. And lo and behold, it went into hibernation sleep mode. So everything is still there. It's just the windows went all wacky.
Yeah, so Dutch City, at least based upon their studies, finds that it's cheaper to pay everybody a basic wage than it is to provide welfare.
Yeah, other places have
Interesting
been trying
concept.
that as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a common trend across Europe right now. See how it plays out.
No, they were doing it in Canada, and they'd even tried it here, I thought.
Are you kidding me? No, we've never tried it here. We're
Yeah,
in a
they
commune,
have.
maybe in a commune.
Yeah.
So you get a birthright to a paycheck
Hold
in
on,
this country?
I'm looking for it. I remember something of that nature. I know they did it in Canada.
It'd be news to me. I mean, and Canada wouldn't surprise me, but if it happened here, anywhere here, it would be quite a big thing, I would think. Now there was a company that there's a couple of companies that, individual companies that do some interesting stuff with that. Like, I don't know, there's one CEO or whatever, he took like a several $1 million pay cut or whatever and gave his entire employees, like, across the board,
Did you read the rest of that?
raise or something like that. Huh?
Did you read the rest of that? That was where the CEO said everyone should get paid $70,000.
Yeah. That was the one. That
Yeah,
was the one that was a while
the
back,
rest
yeah.
of that was that he was actually in a fight with his co-founder, and he did that as a stunt to drive stock prices down so that he could rip his co-founder off or something along those lines.
So, okay, so that if that's the only example we have in this country, again, if you can find me some more facts, because the ones that I know about are even in the best case scenario would be an individual company doing something, and obviously, apparently, doing something altruistic these days in this country, in our society, apparently is next to impossible, if not illegal. But yeah, that's incredibly disturbing. That so a CEO, one person capable of, they should be liable to their stockholders, and I mean, wouldn't that be in violation of the FTC? I mean, isn't that the equivalent of insider trading, effectively?
I mean, if you're doing something specifically to manipulate the
value of the stock.
then that's illegal.
Yeah, so what you just described is exactly the definition of
Kind of in the opposite direction that you would normally see it, I guess.
I mean, yeah, exactly the opposite direction. But for whatever the motivation is the law doesn't care what the motivation for the crime was. You can't say, "Oh, I robbed the bank because my daughter's dying and I needed more money to." I mean, that's a really good sob story, but it doesn't make it not illegal that you robbed the bank.
Right.
I can't find the search term for what that is called.
That means it doesn't exist. The internets have spoken. I'm right. So, thank you for confirming that, Bradley.
There's a thing called Big that promotes it in the U.S. The U.S. Basic Income Guarantee Network.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of hippie-based organizations that were promoting, this type of thing. But you know, I mean, unless they've got some crazy, philanthropist that goes like political, I don't think. I don't ever see that happening. And there's a Google Glass for Work.
The permanent fund dividend paid to residents of Alaska is considered to be the leading example of basic income
Okay,
policy.
that's but okay. That's only because they said that okay, but Alaska, that's a very unique case of them having an incredible surplus of oil money, and somebody fortunately had the foresight to put that away for their residents, and I guess it passed into law there. That's not though a living wage. That's not though a basic wage. That's only a specific amount of money per citizen. I forget what it is, but it's like they get $5,000 or $10,000 per year for living there. The thing is, it's also to promote people to live there. Okay, because there's just so few people living in Alaska. It's they need to do everything that they can to keep people there. So it's not completely, you want to pawn it off as being the same thing, but it's a very specific, unique situation with Alaska. And see, if Texas were doing that with their energy surplus, money. If they were selling their energy surplus and giving it back to the citizens, that would be a great example of something like what I'm talking about. But Alaska's far too specific, and it's a legacy thing that's they've been doing since the pipeline was put in, or whatever, or since they found the oil there way back when.
Here's the one that was talking about the Canadian example.
Maybe we can. So apparently, having your site hacked and getting all sorts of negative feedback about your user base being, fake and everything else. Ashley Madison apparently has been able to add 4 million members. So it's like us saying, okay, we have 1,000 users, let's say, of D7.2 one day, and then the next day we have, 1 billion D7 users magically. I love how you can do that. You can just make up numbers, put them on a piece of paper, and apparently that becomes truth.
Probably wouldn't be best to use us as an example in those kind of things, Michael.
No, but that's what they're saying. It's like they have 43 million members.
We want to make sure that we announce that we would never say something like that.
Anyway, 4 million members since they did the worst thing that anybody could do in the company's position.
And what's funny though is that you're trusting those numbers. They've already proven that they lie about their numbers.
Well, I know. So how is it? I mean, this is
So
so many different levels.
They probably lost 4 million customers.
Yeah, they probably only have 1 million customers total.
They probably don't have any customers now.
Yeah, maybe.
They're just telling their stockholders that they do.
Yeah, and again, this is where is our Security and Exchange Commission? All right. Where's the SEC?
Well, I mean, you gotta grant some privacy to these companies, Michael.
No, you don't. Companies are not individuals. They do not have
our people
inalienable human rights as we do. No, they're not.
They actually do.
We're wrong. We're wrong in this country. We're wrong.
As long as that Citizen Kane, I think it is.
Citizen Kane? What? What?
What's the law that makes corporations people?
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called. prefer if nobody knew what it's called. But it's horrible. It's they are not entity.
It's Citizen something.
Citizens United, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but the
What was that?
I don't know. No, I have no.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
Citizens United.
Right.
Since 2010, they have the rights of a person.
That was a gross misinterpretation of the law. It's legal malpractice, I would say. It's a crime against humanity, if you will. Put it right up there with, well, I can't compare. It's horrible.
Who's it do what, Sam?
So, yeah, that's very unfortunate. We want to give the entities that already have enough power and wealth more power and wealth, and we want to remove that power and wealth from the vast majority of people in this country. How does this not raise flags? How does this not raise flags?
Did you already talk about the voter registration leak?
I didn't want to go down there after the first the Microsoft thing that I was talking about went so poorly.
I thought that's what started it.
Oh, well, didn't we talk about that yesterday, or was that...
We talked about it, not on air, though.
Oh, we weren't on air? Okay, so yeah, so everybody's voter information has been shared, hacked into in the U.S.
It wasn't hacked into, it was an open public database.
Oh, it's just an open public database that they just ever protected at all. Okay, whatever the fuck happened.
And
anyway.
Nobody has claimed who it is yet. Whose database it is. And it hasn't actually been published. Like, it's not like it was like a hacker found it and then published it to WikiLeaks or anything. It was a researcher.
They didn't publish.
Did you even read the article? Did you just freak out about it?
No, I just freaked out.
Gosh.
Let's see if we can post it.
The researcher that found it has been working with news and government to try to get it closed. He didn't publish the database. He just downloaded the 300 gigabytes. So that guy has it, and probably some news agencies have it, but it's not like it's on the internet. But he did say if he could find it, others could probably find it and probably have found it, especially now that it's been alerted to that it's out there in existence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you have registered to vote since I think it was like 2002, then you possibly have your data out there. Wild. I think I still have the link to the Reddit that posted. Yeah, I do. But that's the kind of reason why we need security researchers and white hat hackers to check these things and do penetration tests and find out about these vulnerabilities so they can do it and get it closed before someone malicious does.
So, how is it?
What information are we talking about? People's names, addresses, and their party affiliation.
And phone number.
Phone number.
And phone number.
It says we're talking about first name, middle name, last name, home address, mailing address, phone number, date of birth, party affiliation, logs of whether or not you voted in primary or general elections, which a lot of that information is available for purchase normally to candidates and things like that. But the thing that's freely available is the concerning part. And that's almost enough information to do identity theft.
Yeah.
It's more than enough to get a social security card sent to a location, and knowing that's coming, you can check the mail before someone gets it.
And then you have everything for identity theft.
Yeah.
Think of how much this $231 million would have gone towards paying that basic wage to everyone in this country. that was wasted on a high-tech.
So speaking of penetration testing, I want to show off something I got for Christmas. It's the Wi-Fi Pineapple Nano.
Oh no, you got it?
Yeah.
You bought it? So this is for development use only, right? or for research and development, right?
Yeah, it's for penetration testing only. And actually, this current version is the developer release option. So the hardware is actually what's going to be final release. It just has to go through SARS testing. I don't know what that is. It's already out of stock.
SARS, was that the South Asian Respiratory Syndrome?
That's probably one of those, but it's also apparently a government regulation agency in the U.S. It's already passed FCC and some other testing, and since Hack5 is the developer of it, they're allowed to offer it as an open hardware test development option. It looks like they've already sold out on it. But just to give some examples and to go over some of the differences there, this is the Wi-Fi Pineapple Mark V. So this is the 5th revision of it. And the Nano takes all of this and makes it better. So what this does is basically it gives you an embedded Linux with 2 wireless chipsets and 2 antennas to be able to use Linux to do penetration testing. And I used to be heavily into it, but that was one of the things that I found was always difficult for me, was finding a wireless adapter that worked so that I could do some of the penetration testing stuff, because you have to have injection mode and monitor mode, and these aren't things that they advertise on the box when you look at it. Plus, most of your laptops either do or don't come with it. So, and when you get a laptop, you don't really have a lot of choice, and then you'd have to go out and find one and place it, and just a whole bunch of hassle. And this makes it even nicer, because not only do you have one that definitely works, you have 2 that definitely work and you can use as needed. But this is the Mark V, and this is the Nano in comparison. And this is actually the full kit, so battery and all. I would have to have a DC jack outlet connected to a battery pack to have battery on this one to have the same stuff from it. So I'll pop it out of its case here.
It's a pretty nice case too, very customized or custom for the product.
Yeah, definitely. Right? It's a very nice case. So this is the Nano itself. So you can see,
yeah, that's considerably tinier.
Big size difference, thickness and size overall.
And USB.
Yeah, they took the power jack and the Ethernet port and put it into this USB. So this supplies both power and a built-in Ethernet adapter. So if you plug this into your computer and you want to work on it directly connected, when you plug it in, it gets an Ethernet jack connected to your computer. The other side has the host port, and there's also an SD card, which this has a host port and an SD card, but it also has dip switches that you can use to set things on automatic startup mode, and a serial port outlet, which this one does not have either of those. They also went through and completely redesigned the interface to work with it, and made a mobile app that directly connects to that. It's all extremely sweet setup. This is the battery you get with the Tactical Edition. Comes with this sweet U adapter. I've never seen something like that, so I thought that was really cool. But this battery is 4,000 milliamps, I believe, and it will provide power to this for up to 8 hours. 5 volts, 2 amp input is what it wants, but it'll survive off 5 volts, 1.5 amps. So it's pretty nice. I really like it so far. I like the form factor of it. It works really well for what it does.
Can you show us the mobile app interface and all that goodiness?
I could. Let me put it all back in here. Again, since it's still in development phase, and it's really only for software developers to create infusions and things to work with it, it doesn't look as great as it may in the end. It definitely looks pretty nice, but it can look nicer. And it doesn't have a lot of software right now, so you can go in and install the software. Since it's Linux, it's based on OpenWRT, and you can go in and install the software yourself, so you don't have to wait on software developers. But that's why they have it released prior to that testing, is so that software developers can go in and create those things, which make it even easier, so you can have more of a point-and-click option.
Would you say the current mobile app is not full-featured as a result of that, or not as exposing of its feature set as you think it would become?
The mobile app, basically, I mean, it's obviously it's going to grow. It just came out middle of December. But
it's been an eternity.
The mobile app is more so that you can set up USB tethering with your phone. So that gives any clients that end up connecting to this internet access through your phone. And then it just directs you to the web page, basically. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it.
Okay, it's 0 hours and somebody minutes and 1 minute. Yeah, uptime. Yeah, I can see it. Okay, yeah, thanks.
And I actually had it running while I was standing in line for The Force Awakens, and actually throughout the whole show, which is why I have 912 SSIDs in the pool.
Wow.
Let's see if we can show off those SSIDs. So yeah, this is a list of SSIDs that were captured while I was standing in line. And from within 7 minutes of having this on, and this is what I really like it for, and I mean, I'm not obviously in penetration testing. I'm doing it as a hobby and more for user awareness. But I had this on for 7 minutes and just had it clipped to my belt loop, like so. Doesn't look very suspicious at all. It looks like kind of a cell phone case, if anything. And 7 minutes, I had, I think, 21 clients connected and a few hundred SSIDs. And essentially what this is taking advantage of is if you leave your Wi-Fi on your phone, it's always asking, hey, are any of the networks I connected to there? And it's basically just yelling this out. So anytime you leave Wi-Fi on your phone on, it's always asking and yelling out, hey, is my home network here? Is my home network here? Is my home network here? And what this does is it basically responds back and says, yep, I'm your home network. What you need? And then it's like, hey, I want to automatically connect to you, which is a great feature. When you're near your home, it automatically connects to your Wi-Fi. But if you leave your Wi-Fi on and you don't turn that off, then you have this issue where any wireless can say, hey, I'm here, I'm your home network, connect to me. And now you've connected to an open wireless that it sets up as with the same name, so your phone just automatically connects to it, no password or anything needed. And now you have this device in the middle, which if I use that USB host and use my phone to tether out to the internet or hook it up to another wireless, then you have this device in the middle that I have access to and control. And this is the problem with open wirelesses. Why you don't want to connect to open wireless is because you never know who has that open wireless and what's on that box and what it's doing. Same thing why you don't want to connect to free proxies and things like that. It's because you don't know who controls it, who owns it, and what's being done with it. And a lot of your data is easily read, especially if you start doing email, which when your phone connects to internet, what's one of the first things it does? It goes out and checks all your emails and tries to pull in any new emails or send any new emails that it hasn't gotten since it's been on the internet. Also goes through and checks all your social media networks and things like that. But those aren't that as big a concern because they use a special private key setup called HTTPS or something along those lines. I don't know. I'm not very good with the acronyms or analogies there, but they have a fairly secure method of protecting your connection so that eavesdroppers can't listen in on it. But things like email, definitely not secure. If you start browsing regular HTTP websites, definitely not secure. There are some ways that you can set it up so that basically it gives you a portal when you log in. Like if you've ever seen a hotspot portal that asks for your username and password, you can set up one of those so that when anyone gets connected to it and tries to go online, they get that portal page. And you could do anything. Like you could ask them for their username and password to a certain service, like Comcast is one that's easily spoofed like that. So then you get their Comcast username and password and can sign onto their account and do whatever there. You can say that it's a pay hotspot so that they have to pay a certain amount to be able to access the internet and ask for their credit card and things like that. And as long as you design it to look a little bit legit, people will do it. And that's my reason for having it, and that's my reason for using it, is to be able to promote and educate about these concerns and worries. Like all of my family now, whenever they go out and about and leave their house, they turn their Wi-Fi off just because of the things that I've shown them.
I've built a custom suit that incorporates a Faraday cage that I wear outside, and that does not allow me to use my cell phone, unfortunately. But I can take it off, as needed. So I find that provides me an additional level of security that I think is pretty, it won't allow people to come in. However, they can visually observe me, and since I do stick out like a sore thumb when I'm wearing the Faraday suit, it doesn't quite help.
Why don't you turn on your camera and give us some images of that suit?
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh, no, thanks. It's in an early design.
Nah, you can't tell us about something like that and not show us.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry. If you can't get to it while you're in the suit, I'll turn your camera on for you.
No. Let me see. It's just basically it's a regular jacket and a pair of sweatpants. It's a jacket and a pair of sweatpants, loose sweatpants with a whole bunch of microwave doors. A whole bunch of microwave doors. A whole bunch of microwave doors on it. So.
Can you turn around so we can see the back?
No, I'm getting out of the range of the camera. But yeah, it's what I eventually would like to do would be to weave that material, the mesh material into the actual clothing, the fiber itself. I just need to find something cheap that I can print out at a sweatshop somewhere instead of having to make it myself, because I'm not very good selling.
You want to hire out a sweatshop?
No. I just want it to be cheap. The suit to be able to custom-made suit to be cheaply producible. So it's if it's got a large amount of precious metals or something like that in it, it's going to be problematic. So I gotta figure out what I can. What metals fit that profile to be able to be woven within fabric and still maintain the qualities that I would need. Probably
Copper, brass.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It would be like copper would be ideal, I guess, but I don't know how cheap that is to make us, a full body.
Gauge wire. They make copper mesh, dude.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I could just wrap it around but again, I want it to be something that can, maybe even be washed potentially. So
just duct tape it together.
Okay. Backing away from the realm of fantasy.
Faraday cages are very real, by the way.
Yeah, they are very real, and if you've ever seen one, you know why this is the realm of fantasy that we're talking about putting it into a jumpsuit.
I think I could accomplish it with, like I said, it's. You think it's big? You think it's big?
Michael, enough. Proctor, have you ever come across, or Michael, I guess you may have the same experience, situations where you could use penetration testing and things in the IT repair business? Because I think that's a very good market that's easily untapped.
You mean for selling? I mean, so you would be selling your security services to somebody to lock down their network. You would basically take in the Pineapple, you would do a quick analysis with it, and you would say, hey, these are all the...
Be the Pineapple specifically, but using tools of that nature to go in and evaluate a network, offer remedies on locking it down, securing it, and training and information.
And Proctor, that sounds like an avenue that I think
service to provide. I think it's something that the clients are not all that well aware of.
Yeah, I think it might be an education.
I think there's a lot of education that needs to be done in the area of wireless security,
especially with people getting tablets and iPads and all these
Internet of Things. Yeah, the Internet of Things. Yes.
Bringing them into the office and connecting them to your corporate network is probably the largest security risk that's out there right now.
Well, if everyone listened to our show, Brantley, we would hopefully that awareness will get out there. But the cost of entry into doing this type of thing is relatively low, right? I mean, that equipment is a couple of $100 even for a
well, that's if you're getting specialized equipment to do it purposely. I mean, that makes it look a little bit nicer, but honestly, I could take this PC and set it up to do the same exact thing.
That's true. But, it might be a little bit flashier and nicer for
things like that.
Well, sure, but I think it would be a better sell, and a better presentation if you kind of just walked in there with the pineapple and looked like you were doing something very, very important, and then it
would be easier to do some of the things too. Like one of my favorite episodes on the Hack 5, and man, they discontinued it so you can't find it anymore, but they had a LAN teddy bear. Basically what this was it had 2 USB cords, and you act like a delivery person and you come give it to a secretary and say, oh, this is from a secret admirer, plug it in and you'll get a special message played for you. And essentially what it did was it plugged one USB cord in, and the other one you plugged into a network jack. And in the middle it had a LAN tap, basically, so that now you have a network cord going into your network and a network cord USB adapter plugged into your computer. So there you have a man-in-the-middle attack, and it's essentially a LAN turtle built in.
Yeah, it's essentially a LAN turtle, effectively, just disguised as a teddy bear, I suppose. But the LAN turtle is small enough. And
have you played around with that, or worked with it, or used it at all?
I've used it a bit, just to tinker, and not really gotten into the tools like I probably need to actually accomplish anything valuable with it, but it is pretty neat. And I wanted to set up, but I never got around to it, setting up the the SSH server that I'll need, to do remote stuff. But I'm got it on my plate, things to do, just hadn't gotten around to it yet.
Well, and that's something else too, is you could actually plug your LAN turtle into your computer, your laptop, while you're out and about.
Exactly, yeah.
And use that connection to reconnect to your house.
Yeah, that's I guess was my goal, with my privacy and security and all that penchant stuff. Let's work on that if you don't mind. If maybe you can give me some advice on the host for that, or would you recommend me trying to just host it myself?
Just get a Raspberry Pi and set it up. Low power consumption. It's a Linux server. That's what I have one of mine set up to do right now, actually.
All right, let's talk about that after the show.
Well, it is about that time. I don't know what time we started, but...
10 after, so,
Yeah, it's actually right at an hour.
Yeah, so we're about at the hour time mark for today anyway. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
2 p.m. Wednesday, yep.
Yep. So,
I didn't realize anybody was in the chat. John G was in there.
Yeah, he just joined a little bit ago. Hey, John G, how's it going?
Better late than never.
I like your faucet thing, as I'm sure you've seen with your 50% commission rate.
Excuse me? What?
He has a faucet thing. Here, I'm going to post my referral link for it. Y'all can check that one out.
John G is what the faucet link.
So basically with that, it's just a page filled with advertisement, and every 15 minutes you can click a button and you get free Bitcoin.
Oh, the Bitcoin faucet, this
Yeah.
scam you guys are talking about.
It's not a scam. It's free Bitcoins. It's
Scam.
this is how advertising should be done. If you want to make money off advertising, just pay your users for looking at the advertising. That's how it works.
And so somebody will give me a whole Bitcoin for staring at an ad. Really?
It'll take you a little while to get to a Bitcoin, but in theory, yes.
How long do I have to stare at the ad to get to one
You
Bitcoin?
don't stare at the ad. Just sign up for that site and
Sign up and give my security and privacy away to yet another individual or group or entity.
use an email address that you created for no other purpose, and you set up a wallet, which it can be set up for that singular purpose, and no one will be able to trace back to you. That's the only 2 bits of information it asks for.
Anyway, how long to get one Bitcoin out of this process?
A very long time, since it gives you, like, on average, 900 Satoshi. Is that how you pronounce that, John G? And a Satoshi is the basic increment of a Bitcoin, which Bitcoin, if you've ever looked at it, is 1.8 zeros. And 1 Satoshi is 0.0000001 Bitcoin. So, right
So
now,
in other words, this is pointless. So
Not
your time
pointless.
is better spent. Yes, your time is better spent doing everything, including just breathing.
it takes a click. Like, it's not even time at all.
Do you know how much carbon footprint this is increasing the planet? We basically we basically outdid what was done in Paris recently with the climate accords and stuff like that because of these free Bitcoins. Everyone's powering up a device now to stare at a screen or to go to watch an ad, and they're chucking out a tiny fraction of Bitcoin, nowhere near the amount of energy that they're expelling to actually look at the site.
Since I started it, I've gotten $2.04 about, which is about the same that my Antminer U3 has been making, actually mining Bitcoins.
Wow. So what a waste of money that was, huh?
It's not a waste of money still. I mean, it's still making stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you'll be able to, after how many weeks or months, you'll be able to buy me a lunch with that,
I'm buying
and
you
then you'll have to
lunch
pay. Yeah, and then you'll have to pay for your own because it was only enough for one lunch. Have fun with those Bitcoins. Did you hear recently, though, seriously, the Bitcoin people who maintain or whatever, they split off. Yeah.
Create their own coin.
I forgot what it was called.
Devcoin or something.
DevCoin or something. Yeah, I can't remember.
Well, this is also supposed to be a year that you can Bitcoin's supposed to possibly, like, they've been predicting that it might jump back up to above what its peak has ever been at, which has been
Like $1,000 a coin?
$1,200 a coin.
Really?
Those are all very, very rough estimates, and a lot of the things
I need to find
saying
someone to
that
fix my computer.
It's just like you can predict lottery numbers and what's going to happen in the markets.
it's really bad to write those kind of fluff pieces because it's basically just that. It's just a fluff piece.
At
They have
Hacker
no
Shack
real
Computers,
concrete
their
evidence or
technicians speak English.
insurance
Whether you're
on
ready
it.
to
But
purchase a new computer,
the
have a
fact
virus in
that in the summer Bitcoin rewards are going to be cut in half, basically it's essentially cutting the current mining operations in half. As long as Bitcoin stays a viable currency, which it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, it only seems to be gaining
It
traction.
would increase its value. Yes, I see that. So when is that set to occur? When's the timing on that doubling or the?
Sometime in the summer.
Sometime in the summer. So, yeah, at some point after that, you should start to see a rise. So if somebody were betting on the markets, I would say that if they could get a reasonable time period when that might occur, tight enough time period when that might occur, they could make a lot of money.
Well, like if you go ahead and invest in Bitcoins right now.
Yeah, in the hope that by the end of the summer, you will have.
Well, I've calculated it and running my my S5 plus, S3 plus, and my U3. I'm doing better than breaking even on power consumption, so I'm still making a slight profit there. But I mean, it's like very, very nominal. But if Bitcoin prices increase, then it'll be extremely profitable, especially if it triples from its current price right now. And if I get my solar system set up so that I can offload the power consumption, it's basically like getting free money from the sun.
Would you stop calling it a solar system?
No. I will set up a solar system of my own. I have the power to get free power.
So you're...
Alright, anyway, let's talk about it another time, another day.
John G asked how the S5 was performing for you.
Doing well. Sits at about 1.3 terahashes per second. And the pool that I'm on is the one that he recommended with 40 hashes per second.
Petahashes.
So can you overclock these miners or anything to get better performance out of them?
Yes, you put more power into them, basically.
Mine is actually overclocked. It's standard at about one terahash, so I have it running at 1.3 terahash. And
but remember
that
that performance comes at power. Yeah, and so you do increase your draw there, so you have to make sure you balance it out, and you have
to make sure you have a power supply that will support it.
That's true. Most of these things you have to get to 230, right?
No. Some of the ones that are over a few terahashes are the ones that you want to go 230 with. The U3, the power source that came with it is just like a laptop power adapter, basically. I have to keep that on top of a fan because I have that one overclocked, and I don't want it getting too hot and overheating and melting. So I have it sitting on top of a fan.
Getting insurance on your home is probably out of the question then, right?
Sure, I would be. It's not something they ask on insurance forms.
Well, maybe they should.
But the S5 uses just a regular computer power supply. And I'm on a 750 power supply right now, and I think it's pulling 720 watts from it, is what I checked on the last time I looked at the kilowatt.
Okay. Well, we can get around to, talking about the hashes in more detail another day. I think we'd kind of just pick this topic up a little bit too late for the show today. So, maybe we can carry it over till tomorrow if there's nothing else going on. But I would welcome everyone to join us then at 2 p.m. And
As
please.
Proctor just gave Johnny the link to join in.
Oh. Thanks for joining us, John G. And bring some friends next time. And I really want to, our community out there, I hope you're listening. If you have any questions about D7.2 or D7X or Kill 'Em All or D-Uninstall or D-Sports Read, anything that we do or make crypto prevent, please come to us and ask us. We had a customer, I'll just give you a small quick example. We had a customer who, was basically said they had to resort to reformatting and reloading a machine to get a problem resolved that could have been fixed in literally just a couple of seconds with D7.2. And so I don't want to hear any more of those stories out there. So please, we'd love to share the information if you guys have questions or concerns. So thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Hope to see y'all then, and otherwise, Proctor taking on out. Click the stop. Click the stop. Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.
Later.
Bye, Internet.